Alright, so we chose Duchenne's muscular dystrophy. It is a rare genetic disorder primarily affecting males between the ages of 2 and 16. Duchenne's muscular dystrophy causes the muscles of the body to become weak over time and it is eventually fatal. Duchenne's is caused by a genetic mutation that prevents the body from producing dystrophin, which is a protein that the muscles need to work properly.
Okay. And so the next portion of our brochure is the clinical presentation. So these is just some of the things that you would see. Is frequent falls, fatigue, a waddling gait, large calves, and progressive weakness. For the progression of Duchenne's muscular dystrophy, initially the child is pretty independent. They can perform most of their ADLs and engage in play with other children. As it progresses, they'll eventually need to be in a wheelchair, and then not be able to engage in play or spend as much time with family or friends. As the child ages, the amount of ADLs they're able to do on their own will decrease, and they'll eventually be bedridden and completely dependent on others for all of their ADLs. And then next is just how it affects the family. The family has to learn how to deal with a lot of these changes. They also have to grieve the loss of their normal child, their expectations, their lifestyle, and eventually their child in general. It will also be a large financial barrier as you'll have to pay for all of the therapy and you'll just have to deal with a large amount of stress and grief.
Alright, so the next portion on our brochure that we talk about is the patient and family roles. So because the patient is usually diagnosed as a child, their main role, like Angel said before, is play and to engage in play with their friends and family. This child may find it hard to establish relationships with siblings and even friends because they can't typically do all of the things that they should be able to do if they did not have this. So some changes that the child will go through that they may face is throughout the progression, there are many challenges they're going to face, the loss of independence and the client being unable to do, like we said before, anything that a normal child would be able to do. Although there are many different types of equipment available that can help prolong their independence, some other challenges they may face are not being able to engage in play with their friends or family, not being able to attend regular school, and not being able to do the things that they really want to do. So some different equipment that you can get to help them. There's like many different options today that we have available. Some are more common pieces of equipment that might be used in the first stages of DMD are like walkers and canes that give them a prolonged ability to be able to ambulate on their own independently and do some of their own ADLs. Some other things that they will need in the future would be things like wheelchairs and other assistive devices that you'll need to include in the home, like ceiling tracks, lifts, draw sheets, communication aids, and even modified telephones that they have. And I put a link on the brochure also of the website where I found a lot of those that can be helpful for DMD.
All right, the next little section that we have is the challenges in a school setting or in a public school or in public in general. Because Duchenne's affects various behavioral problems, it may be difficult for a child to develop normal social relationships at school or in a public sector, which makes it increasingly more difficult for the child to succeed in school or a work environment. This can be combated by increasing education about the disease in general among peers and school personnel, social skills training, modified youth groups, sports, art classes, etc., and by promoting the child's independence and self-advocacy. And the CODA's role in the solution for making the patient and family as comfortable as they possibly can be is providing adaptive equipment for modality. CODAs can also aid in home adaptations to make the home as accessible and inclusive as possible, as well as social skills training, advocating for the child to be as independent as possible. And then we can also aid in the education for the patient, the family, and for peers.
And that is Duchenne's muscular dystrophy.
Thank you.